Good morning, friends. Welcome to online study in Sri Digambar Institute of Technology, Bhandaraj Mode, Dosa. This is JP Yadav from Electrical Department. Today's my topic is Faraday's law for induction and Maxwell equations. What is first equation of Maxwell's? The Maxwell equation represent completely covering the surface with a large number of teeny patches having area dA. It means it represents Maxwell shows that a large surface area is represented by many teeny patches areas which area have dA. We represent these small area as vector pointing outwards because we can then take the dot product with the electric field to select the component of that field pointing perpendicularly outwards. This is the only component of the field that contributes to actual flow across the surface. The second Maxwell equation is the analogy one of for the magnetic field which has no source or sink, no magnetic monopoles. The field lines just flow around in closed curve. Thinking of the force lines as representing a kind of fluid flow, the so-called magnetic flux, we see that for a closed surface is much magnetic flux flow into the surface as flow out. This can be perhaps be visualized most clearly by taking a group of neighboring lines of force forming a cylinder tube, the fluid. Inside this tube flow around and round so as the tube goes into the closed surface then comes out again. It is easy to see that what flow into the closed surface at one place flow out at another. Therefore, the net flux out of the enclosed volume is zero. The second Maxwell equation is called integration B dot dA equals to zero. We can say that magnetic field in X area is zero. The first two Maxwell equations give above are for integral of the electric and magnetic field over closed surface. The other two Maxwell equations discussed below are for integral of electric and magnetic field around the closed curve. Here, the Maxwell third equation is closed surface. In a closed surface, integration of E dot dl equals to minus d upon dt integration of B dot dA. So the electric field in a closed surface is equal to the differential of integration magnetic field with a surface dA, where the area integrated over one for on the right hand side. It may seem that the integral on the right hand side is not very clearly defined because if the path or circuit lines in a plane, the natural choice of spanning surface is flat. But how do you decide what surface to choose to do the integral over for a wire bend into a circuit that does not lie in a plane? The answer is that it does not matter what surface you choose. As long as the wire forms its boundary, consider two different surfaces both having the wire as a boundary, just as both the northern hemisphere of the earth's surface and the south hemisphere having the equator as boundary. If you add these two surfaces together, they form a single closed surface, and we know that for a closed surface that integration of B dot dA equals to 0. So the magnetic field over a closed surface with area dA is 0. This simplifies that B dot dA for one of the two surface boundary by the earth is equal to minus B dot dA for in the other one, so that the 2 will add to 0 for the whole closed surface. But don't forget, these integral for the whole closed surface are defined with the little area vector pointing outwards from the closed volume. The Ampere's law is B dot dl. Integration of a closed surface of magnetic field over a line equals to nu node for magnetostatistics, where the current counted are those threading through the path we are integrating around. So if there is a soap film spinning the earth, these are the current that punch through the film. When the Ampere's law go wrong? A simple example to see that something must be wrong with Ampere's law in the general case is given by Feynman in his lecture in physics. Suppose we use a hypodermic needle to insert a spherically symmetric bulb of charge in the middle of a large vat of solidified gel, which we assume conduct electricity. Because of electrostatic repulsion, that charge will dissipate, current will flow outwards in a spherically symmetric way. So the question arises is that does this outward flowing current distribution generate a magnetic field? No, because since we have a completely spherically symmetric situations, it could only generate a spherically symmetric magnetic field. But the only possible such field are one pointing outwards everywhere and one pointing inwards everywhere, both corresponding to non-existence monopoles. So there can be no magnetic field. However, imagine we now consider checking Ampere's law by taking as a path a horizontal circle with its center above the point where we injected the charge. Obviously, the left hand side of Ampere's equation is 0, since there can be no magnetic field. On the other hand, the right hand side is mostly definitely not 0, since some of the outward flowing current is going to go through our circle. So the equation must be wrong. Ampere's law was established as the result of large number of careful experiment on all kind of current distributions. So how could it be that something of the kind we described above was overlooked? The reason is really similar to why electromagnetic induction was missed for so long. No one thought about looking at changing field. All the experiments were done on steady situations with our ball of charge spreading outwards in the gel. There is obviously a changing electric field. Imagine yourself in the gel near where the charge was injected. At first, you would feel a strong field from the nearby concentrated charge. But as the charge spreads out spherically, some of it going past you, the field will decrease with time. Example of Maxwell's equation is Maxwell himself gave a more practical example. Consider a Ampere's law for the useful infinitely long wire carrying a steady current I. A long wire with current I, but now break the wire at some point and put into large circle metal plates, a capacitor maintaining the steady current I in the wire everywhere else, so that charge is simply piling up on one of the plates and draining off the other. Looking now at the wire some distance away from the plates, the situations appear normal, and if we put the visual circular path around the wire. Application of Ampere's law tell us that the magnetic field at distance r What is Gauss law? There are two types of charge, positive and negative. Just as there are two types of real number, positive and negative, electric field lines diverge from positive charge and converge on negative charge. So one rule is there are no magnetic monopoles. Magnetic field lines neither covers nor diverge. Faraday's law, electric field lines does not curl except when the magnetic field changes. What is Ampere's law? Magnetic field lines curl around electric current and also curl when the electric field change. So the Gauss law in integral notations is E dot dA equals to Q epsilon naught. Integration of a closed surface of electric field with area dA equals to charge into epsilon naught. This is Gauss law. What first law is of Gauss law is integration of closed path of magnetic field over area dA is 0. According to surface, Faraday's law is integration of a closed surface of electric field E dot ds equals to minus d upon dt into qb. And Ampere's law is integration of a closed path of b dot ds equals to nu node e node d qe plus nu node. Ampere's law is integration of b dot ds equals to nu node epsilon naught d upon dt qe plus nu node. And in differential notations, Gauss law is del dot E equals to rho epsilon naught. First row del dot B equals to 0. So the magnetic field of dot product is always 0. Del cross E equals to minus d upon dt into B. This is Faraday's law. And del cross B equals to nu node epsilon naught d upon dt E plus nu node into J. This is Ampere's law. So these are the integral notations of Gauss law, first law, Faraday's law and Ampere's law. And this is the differential notations for Gauss law, first law, Gauss law and Faraday's law and Ampere's law. So thanks to all for watching my video. Thank you all guys.